Françoise in Switzerland.
Hi, this is Dominic Muggli in the San Francisco Bay Area. Our podcast, The Digital Edge, brings our perspectives on the digital revolution with a cutting edge angle.
So today, Dominic, we are going to discuss about your most successful projects in terms of digital transformation. Can you tell us a bit about the context and what was going on?
Yeah, that's a great topic and a little bit of an opportunity to reflect. I realized that I participated in more than 100 projects delivering technology to organizations. And it's when I thought about this, it was a little bit difficult to like pick the biggest success. But I was a little bit inspired by our recent podcast when you shared one of your successful initiatives. And I dug back a little bit in my time, a little bit earlier in my career when I was actually developing software. And so the context of what happened there was that I was in a large enterprise, which also naturally had a large sales force that was being managed. And there were some challenges in the way that processes and data and systems were being handled, right? So it required a solution, a technical solution that wasn't readily available in the marketplace. And so the company had decided to build a custom solution to solve their challenge and actually create a competitive advantage in the marketplace as part of the Salesforce management. And I had an opportunity to contribute to that with uh, in many different capacities in the software development team.
So when you talk about the challenges, were those challenges recognized by everyone? I mean, from the top management to the salespeople, or were some parties more interested in the solution that you were bringing?
Yeah, that's a great question, and I think digging into the topic a little bit more, and this is something that I didn't realize at the time when I joined the project, which was already a little bit underway in planning and execution, was that the vision of the solution or the need was articulated by the business function, right? So there was a clear understanding of like, hey, we need to do better because we're having challenges with the way we're currently managing data systems and processes for the sales force. And then the technical organization was on board with finding a better solution for that, right? But it was a solution that was at the time open-ended, right? It was not like, oh, let's just go build this and it'll all problems be solved. It was really a process collaboratively with the business function to embark on this journey to solve this very custom, very special solution for the business. And one of the key factors, in the reflection that I thought about, which actually was like many years later as I worked on other projects, was that this initiative, it lasted about 2 years end to end, including transition into operational state. That the way that the solution, the technical solution was developed was actually catalyst for how the organization looked at technology development and was able to really take the lessons learned from this initiative and grow the collaboration between business functions and the technology organization. And that was really a fascinating evolution in the organization, which again I didn't realize at the time that was such a big deal because it then allowed further development of different products, different technologies to happen in a similar fashion as well.
So what I'm hearing is it's a big success not only because the solution was delivered, I suppose, based on the requirements, but also because it did a culture shift in terms of bringing the business and probably IT working together and reinforcing the collaboration. Is this correct?
Yes, that is absolutely correct. And there are also some aspects, and the again, this is many many years ago, and we saw the industry shift in the direction of a lot of these best practices and technology and approaches Not going into too much technical detail here, but a big factor for the success of the project and this internal organizational transformation was the way that the team cross-functionally worked how to collaborate in an agile fashion.
I
And
was
this
just
was
going to ask if it was already in agile mode or more traditional
Yeah,
waterfall.
yeah, it was actually super innovative at the time, because this was only a few years after the Agile Manifesto was even written.
Mm-mm.
And the team and the leaders on that team, the architect, the tech lead, the program manager, they had all subscribed to the new ways of working at the time, and they even got the business to collaborate in that fashion, right? So we really did textbook agile development of breaking down functionality into different system pieces. Frequently, very, very frequently, review functionality with users, get feedback, make changes, review again, right? And
Mhm.
so they got really used to this mode of working, and they loved it. The business users, they enjoyed this so much
So
that they could, yeah.
yeah, it's an interesting point. Months ago, I was teaching to middle managers about digital transformation, and
Mhm.
one person asked me, "Do you think that agile is here to stay, or is it just the new mode of project
A
management,
fad.
and there will be something else in the future?" I'd like to hear your perspective on that.
Oh, okay, if you want to go in the direction of agile, I think that's worthy a whole separate podcast, because I have strong beliefs about
Okay.
agile on the one end, but also there's a little bit of I think in corporate world there's a little bit of a misunderstanding sometimes about how agile is interpreted, right? Because then from the basic pure concepts of what agile is, there's like a little bit of an overstructurization of agile
Yeah.
to turn it into a product, which then looks more like a less agile approach, right?
Mhm.
And that's, again, that's my reflection after the fact, right? During that time when we did this project, it was really very close to a pure agile mode. Yes, we had a timeline. Yes, we had the scope of what needed to be delivered, but short-term plans and short-term deliverables, fully functional, production-ready deliverables were made along the way, right? And with the
Mhm.
accompanying users, and that was a fascinating experience at that time.
So when you think about that project and that major transformation, are there other factors that you believe made it successful? You mentioned about the collaboration between
Mhm.
business and IT. You mentioned about agile. You mentioned about the fit for purpose as well.
Yeah,
Other factors?
yeah, I would say the buy-in from the leadership to undertake this and this new way of working. This was really somewhat of a leap, I think, that the organizational leadership did, right? Because there were no guarantees, there were no precedences in the organization. The team came together. I was there, um, not as part of the leadership team, but as part of an individual contributor. And for some of the leaders that I had on the team, some of them became mentors for me as well. They had to work through technical challenges and also organizational challenges to get that initiative into the shape that it ultimately became. And I think there were a lot of ego checking and openness that was required for that to be achieved. And so kudos to them, right? That they sometimes had to give in and maybe step back from what they thought was right, but ultimately learned and respected other experts' opinions as well to
Mhm.
make this happen, right, for the greater good.
And do you believe that in that context, there was also good practices to share the vision across the entire organization, not only the salespeople or the commercial organization, but to spread what was the intention and how to go about it and spread that across a wider scope?
That's a That's a good question. There were definitely success stories shared after the fact, right? Because the collaboration between the sales and marketing department and the matching IT organization was very close, and that was the focus area. But since this turned out to be a very successful internal delivery initiative, that was then conveyed broader in the organization to other departments as a learning opportunity. Unfortunately, I wasn't there, for a long time thereafter. But there was definitely an attempt made to share that out and look to leverage these learnings, right, and that experience that was built in these 2 years and beyond with the rest of the organization as well.
So, Dominic, if you had to summarize in 3 or 4 words, the key factors that made that project the most successful in your career, what would that be?
I think a clear vision, focus on execution, teamwork, and collaboration to ultimately put the technical solution on the road into users' hands.
Yeah, I love what you say because what I hear again is that it's not the technology; it's really about the human piece of digital transformation that makes it a success. Thank you so much for sharing your experience. And
Great chat.
next time we'll discuss on whether we should drop everything and focus on AI. Thank you, Dominic.
Thanks,
Bye.
Françoise. See you all next time.